Skin and Body Membrane. In this chapter, the skin. Its structures and functions will receive most of our attention, but before we dig in for our topic, what do you usually think when you look at your skin? Do you want it to be fair and flawless, or do you think about the fact that the skin belongs to the one of the most essential and most dynamic systems, which is the integumentary system? The integumentary system refers to the skin and its accessory structures. It is responsible for more than simply imparting it to your outward appearance. In fact, the skin and the accessory structures are largest organ system in the human body. The skin in which we are all rely on for its protect our inner organs, and at the same time, it is also in need for our daily and protection to maintain its health. Let's talk about the body membrane. What are the two major categories of body membranes? It is the epithelial, which include the cutaneous, mucous, and serous membranes, and connective tissue represented by synovial membranes. Epithelial membrane is composed of epithelium attached to a layer of connective tissue, for example, your skin. The mucous membrane is also a composite of connective and epithelial tissues. What about the four types of membranes? Let's find out! The cutaneous membrane is skin. The skin consists of a stratified squamous epithelium, layer firmly connected to a thick layer of dense connective tissue. It contrasts with other membranes since it is exposed to air and is dry. The serous layer of serosae consists of basic squamous epithelium, a mesothelium, supported by a layer of connective tissue, areolar. These moist membranes line the closed, internal divisions of the ventral body cavity. The three sorts of serous membranes are the pleura, lining the pleural cavities and covering the lungs, the peritoneum lining the peritoneal cavity and covering the abdominal organs, and pericardium lining the pericardial cavity and covering the heart. The mucous membranes or mucosae consist of epithelial tissue, usually stratified squamous or simple columnar epithelia, on a layer of free connective tissue called the lamina propria, from the Latin meaning once claimed layer. The mucosae line the body cavities that open to the exterior, such as the digestive, respiratory, reproductive, and urinary tracts. These membranes are kept moist by bodily secretions. Synovial membranes are composed of connective tissue. They surround the depth of joints, filling the space with the synovial fluid that they make. The synovial fluid greases up the ends of the bones, allowing them to move freely. Moving on. The integumentary system protects the body internal living tissues and organs, protects against invasion by infectious organisms, and protects the body from dehydration. Just like other organs, the skin also has different parts and functions. The outermost layer is the epidermis. It provides a waterproof barrier and creates our skin tone. Beneath the epidermis is the dermis, which contains tough connective tissues that help bind the body together. The innermost layer is the hypodermis, which consists mostly of fat. It provides the main structural support for the skin, as well as insulating the body from cold and aiding shock absorption. Despite melanin's protective effects, excessive exposure to UV light eventually damages the skin, leading to a leathery appearance. It also depresses the immune system. So now, let's learn more about our skin color. Melanin, keratin, and hemoglobin are the pigments that contribute to skin color. Skin exposure to sunlight stimulates melanocytes to produce more melanin pigment, resulting in tanning of the skin. Melanin also protects the skin from the damaging effects of UV radiation and sunlight. Keratin is an orange-yellow pigment plentiful in carrots and other orange, deep yellow, or leafy green vegetables. People who eat large amounts of keratin-rich foods, their skin tends to take on a yellow-orange cast. The crimson color of oxygen-rich hemoglobin in the dermal blood supply flashes through the transparent cell layers above and gives a glossy glow. Emotions also influence skin color. Redness or erythema may indicate embarrassment, fever, inflammation, or allergy. Pallor or blanching may signify anemia or impaired blood flow into the area. Jaundice or a yellow cast usually signifies a liver disorder. And lastly, bruises. The marks reveal sites where blood has escaped from the circulation and has clotted in the tissue spaces. Now, let's proceed to the appendages of the skin, which include cutaneous glands, hair and hair follicles, and nails. Cutaneous glands are all exocrine glands that release their secretions to the skin surface via ducts. They fall into two groups. Sebaceous glands or oil glands produce sebum. It keeps skin and hair soft and moist, and it also contains a chemical that kills bacteria. And sweat glands or sudoriferous, it participates in regulating body temperature. There are two types of sweat glands: eccrine glands, which produce sweat, and apocrine glands, which secretes fatty acids and proteins, as well as all the substances present in eccrine sweat. Moving on to hairs and hair follicles. Hair serves a few minor protective functions, such as guarding the head against bumps, shielding the eyes and respiratory tract from foreign particles. Hair follicles are compound structures, and their main function is to regulate hair growth. And the last cutaneous gland to be discussed in this chapter is nails. Nail is a scale-like modification of the epidermis that corresponds to the hoof or claw of other animals. Its main function is to protect the sensitive tips of fingers and toes. Now, let's go for another ride. Let's talk about skin disorders. The most common skin disorders are infections with pathogens. Allergies are also commonly seen in the skin. Let's go first with the infections and allergies. Cold sores are caused by human herpesvirus 1 infection. Impetigo is caused by highly contagious Staphylococcus. Psoriasis is an autoimmune disorder in which the immune system attacks a person's own tissues. Now, let's go to the next one, which is the burns. Burns are classified according to their severity. In first-degree burns, only the superficial epidermis is damaged. Second-degree burns involve injury to the epidermis and the superficial parts of the dermis. Third-degree burns destroy both the epidermis and the dermis and often extend into the subcutaneous tissue. Fourth-degree burns extend into deeper tissues such as bone, muscle, or tendons. Let's move on to skin cancer, the single most common type of cancer in humans. Basal cell carcinoma is the least malignant and most common skin cancer. Squamous cell carcinoma is believed to be induced by UV exposure. Malignant melanoma is a cancer of melanocytes and applies the ABCDE rule for recognizing a melanoma: asymmetry, border irregulatory, color, diameter, and evolution.